I found out about this story on Tariq Nasheed's Instagram page. And let me tell you right now, it is so sad. But when you put all the stuff together, like all the information together, it is not so surprising of how it came to this and the outcome after all of this was discovered. This little girl's name is Katera Barker. She was 1 year old, and unfortunately, her body was found dead inside of a vehicle at her home in Tennessee. Apparently, her father had went out of town on business and left the child in the car while it was hot, and the child pretty much died. Pretty much, you could say dehydration. Didn't have access to water, any type of food, and pretty much when they discovered her, she was dead. I'm going to go ahead and read this article because it's some things that I had heard before I opened up this article. I want to see if they put it in here. If they don't, I will mention it. It says the tragedy unraveled on a gravel driveway at a home in Tennessee where a family's dark blue pickup truck sat eerily with the rear door open and an empty car seat lying beside it in the ground. Authorities said it was there in East Nashville that a father said he forgot his 1-year-old daughter in a hot car Wednesday, and sometime later that evening, the mother discovered the child. Now, you tell me, that doesn't sound like you forgot your child. That sounds like you left your child there. And they said that the child was in there for 10 hours. The Metropolitan Nashville Police Department said on Twitter that the child was taken to Vanderbilt University Medical Center where she was pronounced dead. The incident marks at least the 7th instance in which a child has died in a hot car this year. That's just this year. According to the data from the NoHeatStroke.org, which has been tracking child vehicular heat stroke deaths since 1998. Over the past 2 decades, an estimated 37 children have died of a heat stroke each year in the United States, according to the website. It was at about 7:30 a.m. Wednesday when Matt Barker took his 1-year-old daughter Katera and her 5-year-old sibling to daycare, Nashville police said in a statement to the Washington Post. Barker reportedly dropped the older child at a daycare center in Nashville but forgot Katera. Boom. That's the part that I want y'all to hear. So you remembered the 5-year-old, but you forgot the 1-year-old. Quote unquote forgot. I hope y'all see where I'm going with this, because this actually is going to lead to now the identity of these parents. Then he returned home, police said, parked the vehicle in the driveway, and called a ride-share service to take him to the airport, where he planned to catch a flight for an out-of-town business trip. The children's mother, Jenny, went to work in her car, police said. It wasn't until that evening when Jenny Barker went to pick up the children from daycare that she learned that her younger child had not been dropped off. She telephoned her husband and came to the realization that Katera was still in the pickup truck, police said in a statement. Police said that as she pulled into the driveway of the home on Virginia Avenue, she dialed 911. She removed Katera from the pickup truck and began CPR until paramedics arrived. Police said the toddler was pronounced dead upon arrival at Vanderbilt University Medical Center. Temperatures in Nashville reached about 70 degrees Wednesday, but experts say that inside a vehicle, it can get much hotter. In a study released Thursday by Arizona State University and the University of California at San Diego School of Medicine, researchers compared temperatures inside 6 vehicles in Tempe, Arizona, where the heat climbed into the hundreds. They found that the vehicles parked in the shade hit nearly 100 degrees within just an hour. When vehicles were parked in the sun, the temperatures rose to 116 degrees. These tests replicated what might happen during a shopping trip. Nancy Salover, a climatologist and research professor at the School of Geographical Sciences and Urban Planning at Arizona State, said in a statement, "We wanted to know what the interior of each vehicle would be like after 1 hour, about the amount of time it would take to get groceries, but the researchers said what surprised them was the surface temperatures. When vehicles were parked in direct sunlight, the heat averaged 123 degrees within the same period. Steering wheels 127 degrees, dashboards 157 degrees. We've all gone back to our cars on hot days and have been barely able to touch the steering wheel. But imagine what that would be like to a child trapped in a car seat. And once you introduce a person into these hot cars, they are exhaling humidity into the air. When there's more humidity in the air, a person can't cool down by sweating because sweat won't evaporate as quickly. The situation can turn dire when a body temperature reaches more than 104 degrees and a person cannot cool down. In such cases, the person can experience heat stroke, become dizzy, disoriented, and confused, feeling fatigued, or falling into a coma. When a condition is not properly and promptly treated, it can lead to death. In a recent study, the researchers discovered that a young child trapped inside of a hot car in the sun could reach life-threatening temperatures for about an hour. Following the hot car death in Tennessee, News Channel 5 reported that the child was recently adopted by the Barkers and celebrated her first birthday with them. Her birth mother, who was not publicly identified by News Channel 5, told the station that she learned about the toddler's death Wednesday night when the adoption agency informed her that there had been a terrible accident. She said she was devastated by the news and she wants to know exactly what happened. Police said the father flew home Wednesday night and that the people have been cooperating with the police investigation. No charges have been filed. Now, after reading all of that, I'm going to show you who her parents are. Boom, there you go. Now it all clicks, it all makes sense. And they said no charges have been filed. So you left your child in the car. You remembered to take the oldest child out, which they say was 5 years old, which I'm assuming is biologically yours. So the child is white. This child happened to be black. You left the child in the car. This is exactly why they do not want. Well, a lot of black people do not like when white people adopt black kids. Remember what happened to Devontae Hart and his siblings when those two white lesbians adopted them, abused them, and got them drunk off of Benadryl and drove off of a cliff with them in the car so they would be disoriented and wouldn't feel the pain. Now that little girl is gone because of their negligence. Or maybe they meant to do that. And then, of course, you have to question, was there insurance involved? Did they kill this girl to get the insurance money? My guess is probably yes. There's usually always an ulterior motive. But this is just crazy. Look at her. Beautiful little girl. Like, how do you forget your child or the child you now claim? I'm willing to bet that if this was a dog and they did this to a dog, they would have been hit with all kinds of charges. If this was a black parent that did this to their child, they would have been hit with charges. If this was a white parent who did this to their white child, they would have been hit with charges. But because these are white parents and did this to a black child, no charges have been announced. But we'll see. Because sometimes they might come up with something if they have something strong enough to do it. But they didn't even try to hit them with negligence charges. And that's the low tier that they could hit them with. That's the lowest they could hit them with, I believe, is negligence. But they probably won't even get that. But my condolences go out to this child. Fuck both of these demons, both of them. They both play equal parts, but he definitely plays the biggest part right there. But then again, it could have been a grand scheme set up by the both of them. And she could have been acting or pretending. Very good at that. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk